Foresight community. Today we will speak about the future 2050. And with us will be Mr. Ibon Zugasti, director of the Prospektiker company from Spain. Mr. Ibon Zugasti, ¿cómo estás?
Hello, Blaž, and nice to meet you again, and nice to be here in the Foresight Talks.
Mr. Ibon, can you tell us about what is the integrated strategy and how the world will look like by 2050?
Yes, we are seeing that the complex problems are becoming what we call wicked problems in the world. We see that challenges like climate change or food security or energy need more and more like what we call integrated strategies, where we are understanding those challenges in a systemic way, which is the one of the roots of the foresight discipline. And we need to develop these what we call global integrated strategies to address these big challenges in the right way.
What are those challenges, Mr. Zugasti? What are those challenges, Mr. Zugasti?
Yes, we are talking about big challenges like climate change. That we know it's a global issue for every country and every person in the world. We are also talking about the very link to the climate change, about the access to raw materials and to resources, very related to food security, energy, or water issues. So we need more and more, as I was explaining, integrated strategies and solutions for those very wicked problems, and how to address each of the challenges in a way that we are not damaging humanity or other people in some of the other challenges. A clear example could be this food security area, where in the Millennium Project we are suggesting to use integrated strategies such as meat without cows or meat without animals. That means that we can, through biotechnology, create food and let's say and food products for to cover our human needs that are not based on animals, and that way we can at the same time fight climate change, especially by reducing global greenhouse emissions, and at the same time increase or improve global food security for humans. So those are the example of global integrated strategies that we are suggesting from the Millennium Project to address those global challenges.
What about the renewable energy, Mr. Zugasti? You highlight renewable energy, so how you see scenarios for renewable energy by 2050? How this will evolve?
We see that we are facing what we call an energy transition right now. We are going from fossil fuel-based energy technologies into renewable clean technologies. There is a bunch of global agreements that are helping to make this transition, like the European Green Deal or the new Green Deal in the case of the US. So there will be huge opportunities for this transition that will be totally positive for the world and for humanity. But we also need to make sure that we are selecting the right renewable energies. For instance, biofuels are not really giving the best response for these global challenges. We need those technologies that are really giving the best answer from a systemic perspective, such as solar or wind energy.
And Mr. Zugasti, what about employment? How this will affect employment? How employment will look like by 2050?
Yes, again, we are seeing that the employment market is in a huge revolution right now, mainly due to. Yes, again, we are seeing that the employment market is in a huge revolution right now, mainly due to the fourth industrial revolution. We are seeing that disruptive advances in new technologies, it could mean like a replacement of a big part of human work by machine or by robots. So we need to address that transition also in the right way, because in the Millennium Project we are seeing that we could face three different alternative scenarios. And for each of them, we are seeing that the labor market will change dramatically in the next decades. So as we are seeing here, I mean, the working population will evolve in a different way for each of these three scenarios. We see that in the case of the business as usual scenario, we will mainly keep as we are now, but somehow the unemployed population could grow in the next decades in a very challenging way if we are not
Elaborate,
able
Mr.
to
Zugasti.
manage that transition.
For example, you mentioned self-employed in the third scenario, self-actualization. What actually means self-actualization? Can you elaborate a little bit?
Yes, this is the third scenario is what we call the desired scenario or the best scenario in our understanding in the Millennium Project. So this means that we would be able to enhance the capacity that humans have to let's say to address the requirements of the new labor market, so that humans could be at the same level as robots or other technologies. So we need to enhance the capacity that humans have. And this would take us into what we call the self-actualization economy, where humans will be able to develop their best skills, their best capacities in the labor market. We would see that in that scenario, technologies would help humans create, design, write, I mean, to develop the soft and hard skills. And we would see that in that scenario, self-employment would be the most important part of the employment for the majority of humans.
So, Mr. Zugasti, it's really good. It's really good to see the different scenarios, and one of them really positive, that about self-actualization. So, as we heard, self-actualization economy will be very important part for the future of work and humanity. So now, what about organizations? So what are the new types of business organizations? So Mr. Zugasti, can you tell us what are the new types of business organizations that will shape the planet?
Yes, this is a very good question, Blaž, because we see that in this third scenario of self-actualization, self-employment will grow in a very big part, and this is a very good opportunity because many jobs will be created. But we want that those jobs are connected, that they are interlinked, that somehow they are based on cooperation. We don't want that those jobs are based on an individualistic way, because we know that that's not the best way to address the needs, the social needs that humans have. So we see that a clear example of how we could do this in the future could be the case of the Mondragon Cooperative Corporation, that to which I belong actually. Mondragon is an example of a large scale business organization that is based on individual and autonomous workers that are also owners, but at the same time that they are cooperating and working together. It is an organization based on very clear principles, cooperative principles. So it's an organization that has a very clear purpose for the future. And this will be another important lesson for the future. We need business organizations that are based on a clear roadmap or a purpose of what they are doing and why they are doing that. And people that are working together based on a concept that we use a lot in Mondragon, that is called the team entrepreneurship. So being entrepreneurs, but working together in teams so that we can also address social needs and cooperation at the same time.
Mr. Zugasti, can you give us a good example of the project designed by Mondragon Corporation? Just one project about sustainability, for example.
Yes, Mondragon is working in two dimensions related to future growth, and one of them is related to sustainability. We are developing a lot of projects on renewable energies or on also bringing clean technologies into industry. So for us, it is very important to not only address industrial needs by our clients, for instance, in the automotive sector, on how to go from traditional cars into future hybrid and electric cars, but also to address social needs. So how we can bring this cooperation into creating new energy systems, for instance, based more on renewable energy. So we are promoting a lot of what we call energy cooperatives, so that the workers, they can also be consumers of green energy with the cooperative base.
Very interesting, very interesting. Thank you. Ibon, this was really good insight, and thank you very much for your great impact on how the world will look like. And really, I'm impressed. This was really good. Thank you. Muchas gracias, amigos, señor.
Thank you very much, Blaž. It was a great pleasure.
So, this was Foresight Talk on Future 2050, employment, and how the world will look like. Mr. Zugasti also tell us and give us an insight on what are the future models of business entities like Mondragon Corporation. Today I learned a lot. I'm pretty much sure that also you, Foresight community, for you was this great experience to get this insight. Stay with us and follow us in Foresight Talk.